As we continue to trade sideways in the crypto market and slightly to the downside in certain altcoins, in this video, we're going to talk about what is next for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrencies because we have been discussing the fact that a breakout is coming. There's constriction happening on the charts. Well, that constriction just continues, and the further on it goes, the more explosive we could see the breakout eventually become here for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. I'm going to talk to you guys about why I'm staying bullish overall, but I do want to prepare you in this video for what could happen if we move to the downside and what targets you should be looking for and what price action should you see to respond in a certain way. Because despite the fact that I'm bullish, that does not mean I don't have plans in case of bearish price action. That is what sets successful crypto investors and traders apart from unsuccessful ones, is you're always going to have a direction you're leaning and a bias you think the direction the market's going to go, but you still prepare for the opposite things to happen. Again, in this video, we're going to talk about what those plans should look like, so make sure, go ahead and strap on in and get ready for this video. Now, I want to start off, before we go too far into this, and talk about part of the reason why I'm so bullish still on cryptocurrency and on Bitcoin. Well, let's think of the big catalyst, that is the reason why we're falling in price action right now. We had an approval of the spot Bitcoin ETF, which really, it started off as a bullish push. You know, we did go set a new high for this little bull run, shooting up to $49,000, but then we sold off very quickly. Yes, we hit the golden pocket, but honestly, the reason the price is sold off is because of the massive outflows from GBTC. And when you think about it and you see the numbers, the billions of dollars that are outflowing, and the recent expectation that a lot of people are saying we're not going to see all of that come back. In fact, we might only see maybe a third of it, maybe a little more than a third of that money come back into Bitcoin some other way. And yet we're continuing to find support around $42,000. I want you guys to just think logically, that is how bullish and how much demand there still is for Bitcoin, that despite the fact one of the largest players in Bitcoin price moving to the upside is bleeding right now, there will be money that flows back into Bitcoin from that bleeding, and we're finding some very strong support at 42K. Why? Because I don't think the market is ready for a full-on retracement. I could be wrong, and I'll show you what could happen if I'm wrong. But what I'm seeing fundamentally alone, before I even look at the charts, is a very strong Bitcoin despite a very harsh negative pressure coming in to the price. Now, got that part out of the way. Let's go take a look at the charts and see what is in fact happening. You guys know we have been talking about here on Bitcoin the fact that we have been under a 4-hour Bollinger Band constriction now ever since kind of back here in this pinching zone on the 15th. Well, when you zoom on in here, pay attention to the Bollinger Band lines. There's a lot of blue on the screen, so this faint line right here. We just took another step of constriction after even being a little spread out here just a couple of days ago. We have now constricted even more. But turning off our Bollinger Bands, because again, constriction, that's fun to know, but that doesn't necessarily tell us which way we're going. We also have a little bit of a formation forming with some fake outs to the downside and upside. Yes, this hasn't been a perfect level of support or perfect level of resistance, but you will find an overall trend of rising support with falling resistance. What this makes for us is a symmetrical triangle pattern. Now, there is a bearish nature to the symmetrical triangle pattern in two ways. One, symmetrical triangle patterns that the price action moves bearish into in traditional technical analysis is more often not going to continue to break to the downside. The other thing that makes this really negative is the fact that it wasn't just that we were gradually moving to the downside, but the price action moving into this symmetrical triangle has been pretty strong. In fact, you would call this potentially a bear pennant. Pennant because it's a triangle, not a channel, and bearish because, again, the steep price action that could be a flagpole is moving in the downward relationship here. Now, so what would this mean here? The more conservative, I guess, the more, let's not get crazy here. Symmetrical triangle pattern break to the downside. We're talking about a move on Bitcoin potentially down here if we break out, which we should be doing very, very soon. we could see the price dropping down below $40,000, coming down on this breakout to about $39,700. Now, with symmetrical triangle patterns, even though more often than not, when the price action moves down into them, they usually break to the downside, they still have chances and probabilities of moving to the upside. So in that case, we're looking potentially for a move of Bitcoin if we break to the upside all the way up here towards 45,600, 45,700, somewhere in that target range. The more bearish scenario here, if we were to see it, is this bearish pennant right here. So for this one, we're going to go all the way up to the top of that $49,000 price we had, coming down to that wick. You move this one over into, again, the bear pennant breakout. You go to the top of the resistance level, not just the breakout of the support. This would give us a price action of $36,300. So that is the really negative side here of what price action can happen. And the truth is, that's something to definitely be keeping your eye on. Again, while I am bullish and I'm seeing in the news the sentiment, and even again, there's things here on the charts that I like that I'm seeing, I still am very aware that if we were to see price break out to this downside, that is what I'm looking for. What are my targets, though? Again, I'm going to tell you guys, we're going to look at some other indicators here in just a second on Bitcoin, but what are my kind of triggers to activate right now? Again, we've seen wicks drop below the support and break above the resistance. So you can't say that your trigger is simply the price action breaking to the downside or bouncing back up and breaking to the upside. All too common, you do see things like a breakout of a formation before a pullback into it and a fake out in the opposite direction to both sides. I've seen this happen several times. So what you're actually going to want to look for confirmation is you want to see increased volume as one of these levels is broken. If we have low volume, that's not an overwhelming competence and confidence in the market that direction is really where we want to go. If I can see some high volume to the downside or I see some high volume to the upside, that is the first sign I'm looking for to enter either a short position to the downside or long to the upside. The other one would be a bounce back and retracement to the former support or resistance level and a bounce off of it. If I see a bounce and we move back to the level, close to the level at least, of where we originally broke out, that is a sign of strength that, in this case, bears broke out. They did retrace because, again, sometimes you have these dead cat bounces, but finding this former support level and turning it into resistance is a sign of strength for the bears. If I see a significant move again off that bounce, that is when I'm entering my short. Of course, we're talking about the very opposite for the bulls. If the bulls break out, you might see a little bit of a fall, just a dip where the bears fight it. And then I want to see a strong bounce off that former resistance. And then as we get back up into this area, I'm looking to enter my long for those positions. Now, that's kind of what you're looking for in price action. That's kind of what you're looking for trigger. If you are looking to trade this and you're looking for an exchange to do it, make sure you guys are using Blowfin. There's a link down below. Amazing fees on Blowfin. They're newer. The crazy thing about it is there's no KYC. And if you are worried, maybe you can't use it based off your country, at least here in the United States, I guess I can't speak for every country, but here in the United States, no VPN is required. And you have some amazing security and great liquidity pools. I highly recommend if you're looking to be trading these moves, and they're coming, check out Blowfin down below with our link. You're going to want to have it. They're a sponsor of this channel, so thank you so much to them. Let's talk about the other indicators, though, kind of moving out again. Even though we have this formation brewing, why do we have still overwhelming confidence about Bitcoin? Well, there is something that flashed here this morning that I want to bring to your attention, and that is out here on the daily chart using the Lux Algo oscillator. Lux Algo, now I'm going to talk about some money flow things here as well, that there's some bullishness here, but on the daily chart, I do not love that the money flow is still continuing to fall the downside, but here is something that I do like that I'm seeing. We are under a bullish momentum dot right now, and we just had a green reversal dot flash for the first time since all the way back in October, middle October. Guys, what happened back in the middle of October? That, of course, was the beginning of this whole rally in the first place. We're looking on the daily chart. Look at what we have been under right now with these higher highs and higher lows, a bull trend. We've had several red reversal flashes, which actually do cause some small pullbacks. That's just how great Lux Algo is. Highly recommend adding it. If you guys are looking to up your trading game, check it out. These tools are amazing. Again, link down below. But I really do love seeing what we have here. And right now we're kind of flirting with it. As the price goes up and down, you guys see that dot just went away. We are going to have to wait till the end of the day to print that dot and have confirmation there. But the fact that we're flirting and that dot keeps coming in and out is a sign, again, in a bullish trend that we could be about to see another big move to the upside. Now, again, I talked about money flow on the 4-hour being a little bit negative and moving continual to the downside. Check out what we have going on, though, on the 4-hour, where we have been in the red now this entire dip since hitting 49,000. We are curving back to the upside. We're no longer below that trend assist, and we no longer have an excessive amount of sellers in the market. We're under a green momentum dot. I am liking what I'm seeing here. The next move I want to see for positivity here on the 4-hour is I want to see this bright red, which does show stronger bear trend at the moment. I want to see that turn at least back to pale, and I want to see some green pop back up on here. But I'm seeing the same thing here on the hourly chart. Where on the hourly chart, we have the money flow coming back up. We're almost back to the 0 line, the 50 line, and we're seeing that green reversal dot here as well. Overwhelmingly, I'm just seeing a lot of positivity start to pop up as we're touching these support levels. And these are levels we've been talking about. Again, in constriction of price action, you have some volatility within that range. And now that we're at the bottom of the range, the fact that we're seeing the bullish flashes, the bullish indicators flashing, is support that we're bouncing off of support once again. It's a support of the argument that we're bouncing off support once again. When I pull up the other indicators that we have with Lux ALGO, we're also seeing some good stuff happen here as well. As we came back down to tap some order blocks on these time frames, you're also going to see here on the daily chart, we're still under a very bullish trading trend right now, with the Neo Cloud staying very bullish. Now, I will say, if we get that breakout to the downside with that triangle, I very much expect this to turn bearish. And at that case, not going to be surprised if we do have a little bit of a ways to the downside, maybe back down towards 32. Again, the fact that we're hesitating right here, not just making that move, doesn't mean we can't go there that far, but I'm still expecting, at the very least, that dead cat bounce back up, not just even to 45,000, as we talked about this formation is going to call. I'm expecting even a move back up towards 46, 47. One of the reasons for that is because of liquidations. Even if we drop a little bit here, remember I told you guys, watch out for fake outs. We do have heavy liquidity down towards 42,000, but after that, the majority of our liquidations are up above us here at 43.7, here at 44.5, all the way up towards 46, even up towards 47. And then even after we have some brightness here at 42 and about 44.5, our next level of significant brightness is where? Up here pushing towards $50,000. As a whole, Bitcoin, despite the fact that we're in constriction and we're moving sideways and we're trying to sit in a spot where we're waiting to see which way we're breaking out, there is still so much positivity and opportunity for the bulls to make a push back to the upside. I'm even looking at, again, from the sentiment perspective. If the bears really wanted to push it, they have everything going their direction, sentiment or news-wise, this massive outflows from GBDC to go to that downside, and yet we're continuing to hold. Why is that? I do believe that is the bulls continuing to find support, and they're waiting for the right opportunity to strike, even if that means a small move to the downside first. But with that said, though, guys, that's what I'm looking at. This is a lot we've seen over the last couple of days. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Am I off here? Are we still bearish, and do we need to go further to the downside? Let me know what that price target is. Is it just to 40,000? Is it to 38,000 and we're filling that CME gap? Or is it time to dip even lower, maybe even below 30,000? Or do you think I'm hitting it right on the head? Are we bouncing off of support right now, and the move next is up into the higher $40,000 range, maybe even getting to strike into the 50K? Let me know down below. Also, go ahead and smash that like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit that subscribe button for more content just like this. With that said, though, everybody, that's all I have for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one.